Continuing up ahead, a tall pink building. 311 South Wacker. It is covered in pink Texas granite. That makes it bigger. At nighttime, they light up those barrels on top like the beautiful crown. These LED lights, you can see it for miles. And they do that for attention because they are ready. It has 110 floors. It was designed by lead architect Bruce Graham and his best friend and structural engineer, Dr. Foslo Khan. These two men both worked at Skidmore, Owings, in Maryland. So they were BFFs, they were always hanging out. One day they were smoking. Graham pulled out 2 cigarettes from a bundle of 9 in his hands. And he's called The Ledge. That is part of the sky deck tour where you can go step out onto a glass floor and look over 1,000 feet down directly beneath you. Have been up there, maybe have you stood on the glass floor? Anybody? Nobody? Maybe, in the back? Okay, 1 or 2 in the back. All right. Gotta be brave. The Y shape at the top is Wolf Point that we passed by earlier twice. This map, installed in 2014, only cost them $810,000 to literally put themselves on the map of themselves on themselves. Towers with jagged edges. These are connected in the middle, so it's one building with 2 tower sections. This is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. The engineers designed this building with its towers leaning out away from each other a few millimeters. To your left is another Art Deco. You notice it's got 2 parts that stick outward, and on those facades you'll see the Egyptian hieroglyphs kind of carved into them. You see it's got Egyptian obelisks all along the front. Now, bridges. We've passed underneath about 20 of them on the tour. We have 37 fully functional movable bridges in Chicago. They all open. Well, at least the ones we're seeing today, all open like a seesaw. They all have 12,000 ton counterweight, hidden and protected inside and below the bridge houses on either side. And they're so perfectly calibrated that they only take about a minute to open or close. Your green stripes are designed to represent the green color of the river. The main branch of the Chicago River is a dark turquoise green due to algae that live in it. These algae come in from the lake, which is the source of this part of the river. It's got 2 different sources that join at Wolf Point. Now, this is not the same shade of green as St. Patrick's Day green, which is a temporary bright neon green color caused by a special vegetable-based leprechaun powder that the Plumbers Union throw about 40 gallons of. They spray it into the water, it churns up, and it creates a bright neon in March in the winter. All right, now, straight over to your right is a glass panel. In there are $8 million worth of projectors that at 7:30 tonight will project a digital animated image onto the facade of the Merchandise Mart. They do this every night this time of year. This show is called Art on the Mart. Every building with all of its concrete on the outside looking like a bunker. This style is called brutalism. Very popular in the late 60s when people in this country were stressed out about the Vietnam War and the Civil Rights Movement and the campus riots. And this was the architect's response. They made very serious looking buildings to try and give a sense of stability and security during that otherwise stressful time. And up to your left, you see the flag flying on a French cathedral with flying buttresses and on a tall white Tribune tower, as in the Chicago Tribune newspaper that used to have their headquarters there. The newspaper decided 100 years ago they wanted to have a contest to see who could design them the most beautiful modern office building in the world. Okay, and then now you know what it is done. And then it's got a thin white spire on the top of it. Spires look a lot like antennas. They are very different. Remember, antennas are equipment, but spires are decorations. Who designs the decorations of a building? The architect does. Lake Point Tower is the one that all the young people say it looks like a big fidget spinner building. And all the adults say it looks like a flask from the side, so, you know, perspective. They're big because this is a major road, which means major budget. Also, it's the bridge that is the road, the first bridge that the boats go underneath when they enter the city. So it's got to look good from both sides. Straight ahead of us now is Lake Michigan. We will not be entering Lake Michigan. It's a few feet higher than we are, and we have to go through the locks. It's a whole process. It takes about 10 minutes. Also, so Navy Pier is about a mile long. It's full of all kinds of fun stuff. They've got restaurants, shops, rides, as you can see. They've got some galleries as well. They've got a children's museum near the front, if anybody's got kids with them. And they've got a really cool rooftop bar near the end, for those that don't have any with them. Up ahead to your right, you'll see a little white building. That's the offices of Coast Guard, which they share with the Marine Police and the Geese Police and the Fire Brigade. You can see the fireboats right there. 2 active fireboats in the city, keeping our city safe. Feet or 6 meters deep. But it was not always like this. This whole area used to be a marshland for thousands of years, meaning all the water here was shallow, and the river too. And this river used to be only about this wide, and it used to flow very quickly in the opposite direction. So what happened? Chicago happened, and it's industrial age, and we know the rest. They used the river as a sewer back then. All that waste washed away off into Lake Michigan, which is where Chicago gets its drinking water from, and that was bad. That started to accumulate and become a deadly problem, which resulted in cholera and typhoid outbreaks regularly.